Hey everybody, welcome to etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Halderak's Destination 4 bike rack carrier here on our 2016 BMW X1. Now this guy, looking at it, it can look a little daunting. Yes, there's a lot of straps going on. It's not going to be the prettiest bike rack out there. However, when you really start seeing what all those straps can do for our bikes, I really think you're going to become a fan. As you guys can see here today, we are going to be able to get 4 bikes up on this bad boy, and at 35 pounds per bike, we're going to have no trouble getting most of our standard and mountain bikes on here. Taking a look at the cradles themselves, nothing too crazy going on. As you can see, we just have a ratcheting strip here to actually hold onto our wheels. We have a nice little inner groove there for your 18C tires, of course, and widening out to about 3 inches for your bigger tires. Now, as you guys can see here today, we also are having an adjustable strap, so this knob can be quickly taken off to readjust our positioning here. Now, it's nothing too crazy, of course. However, it can add you just a little bit of versatility to our carrier, allowing us to carry our shorter and longer bikes with no problem. Now that ratcheting strap works really easy. Just simply pull it down. That lever won't let go unless we press in on it. Of course, you're getting a nice little eye hook in there to go ahead and really cinch it down, which I like because if it's cold and wet out, nice that we're going to have to pinch in with our hands. We go ahead, put a finger through, and pull down. And you are getting just a nice little rubber pad there to prevent any kind of damage to our wheel rims as we get it mounted. Now, one thing I love to point out on the Destination here is these nice little white reflectors on the back end. It's just nice to let people know exactly where you are when you're coming home, especially if you've got the family or friends in the car. That way we have no accidents after our late night ride or after a long road trip. It just overall makes it a safer ride for ourselves, which I love to see, and I don't really think it's standard enough across the industry. Well, since we do have frame contact here on our center portion, guys, unfortunately, not going to be a great way to carry your carbon frame bikes as we are having that frame contact, so we will have frame deterioration, and overall, we'll start warping and just ruining our carbon frame bikes. Now, some issues you run into with some carriers, you might have a little bit of a weirdness going on with your bike, and primarily in your hanging style, and a lot of the frame mounts sometimes have issues clamping on to a nice purchase on our frame. However, with our very versatile center mast system and a 360 revolution from our middle cradles, we should have no issue at all clamping onto a host of different bikes. So whether it be step-through women bikes, kiddos bikes, standard or mountain, should have no trouble at all having a nice purchase on there. Now, of course, what's nice about it, you can get that diagonal, horizontal, or straight up vertical posting without too much trouble of just adjusting that cradle. Of course, you're seeing about that same kind of standard strap length, and that inside rubber on that cradle can do a great job of not ruining any of our frame as it sits in there. Well, it's not going to take us any time to get the bike off. To do so, I'm just going to go ahead and remove each of our wheel straps here by simply pressing in on our levers, getting those set out to the side. One thing I like about these as well, really easy to get those straps out of the way, especially for mounting it next time. Doesn't take any time at all, just to simply pop them and get them thrown behind the wheel and underneath the cradle. That way they're just out of our way. But that does bring us to our last point of contact here on our bike. I like to go ahead and just bring my other hand around to actually pinch that. Just makes it easier so I don't have the bike falling away on that first takeoff point. And therefore I can just get the rest of that out of my way, get that cradle set, grab my bike, and lift it off and get riding. So it doesn't take any time at all, as you guys can see. The biggest thing you might have to fight with is those straps, but since we've gone ahead and got them out of the way, it doesn't take too much time to just set it over. Of course, watch out for your mast and your vehicle as you get it set, but it shouldn't take us any time at all. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our cradles here, just like so. Now, one important clearance to keep in mind, or measurement to keep in mind, is going to be our clearance from our vehicle. Since we are sitting kind of low here on the X1, we're going to go ahead and see exactly what we're working with here when we are carrying our bike. So from the end of our carrier here, it looks like our wings are going to be our lowest position. We can go ahead and see exactly what we're working with. And right at 16 and about 1/8 there from the ground to the very end of our carrier. Definitely going to be a measurement I want to watch out for because our X1 does sit pretty low, and as those front wheels go up, the back will go down. So just be careful on any kind of steep terrain. Of course, we do get a nice little rise here in our carrier that's helping us out immensely. However, it's definitely something just to be conscious of, so that way we don't have any contact when our bikes are being transported. Well, at the top here too, we do have a nice easy way of going ahead and accessing the back of our cargo. There's still a lot of space here in the X1 we still want to go ahead and utilize, and to do so we actually do have to take off our bikes here. So unfortunately, no tilt away option here on our platform style rack. You are going to have to be looking at a little bit more of expensive options for that to actually be coming in effect, but we do have a way of kind of giving us a middle of the road option for ourselves. We can come right here to that center mast, start loosening this bolt, It's going to go ahead and take out our support arm here, allowing that to simply fold down and our mast to be put out of the way, folded like so. Now, one quick little tip with it too, guys, what you can do, take this extra strap over here, simply bring it around and down and into position. And just like so, therefore, that mast isn't going to be moving when we have it nice and tied away. Won't be coming up, especially as later on we're going to go ahead and fold this guy, and we don't want that crashing into our vehicle, doing any damage. And now, as you guys can see, now that that mast is out of the way and our bikes are no longer on our carrier, I can come in and still get that hatch open without having to take off my entire carrier. So now I come in, grab my coolers, bike helmets, anything I might need with quick, easy access. Not having to climb over those seats can always be a pain. Now, of course, we are having to take the bikes off. We're not getting full access to the back of that, with ours still being kind of limited on our foot space between our hats, but it's still a nice little option to still get in the back of our vehicle. Well, talking about dimensions here, we want to go ahead and see how long we are from our vehicle. So let's go ahead and see exactly what we're working with here. From the rear of our bumper to the very end of our carrier is going to be putting us right to the end at 38 3/4 of an inch there for ourselves. So definitely out there. However, nothing too crazy for ourselves, and we do have a way of quickly shortening it down. Right here in the middle, we're going to have a retaining clip and hand knob action. So I'm just going to go ahead, remove that clip from the very back, just a simple little retaining clip, guys. And then I can simply start spinning this counterclockwise, loosening it up and allowing it to remove. Once you get it at a certain distance, we can go ahead and just pull it right out and simply walk up our entire carrier into position here. Now, we're not going to go all the way. There is going to be a fixed little point here, so it can be helpful just to watch exactly where that hole is to reinsert your hand knob and just start spinning away. One thing I like about that too, sometimes with hand knobs they become a pain because they're just too small and too plasticky. This guy gives me a really good purchase. I don't think we're going to have any issue with that. Even if our hands are cold and wet, it's nice and large enough for us to go ahead and get some good tension to it. So you guys can see that really takes no time at all to really bring that up. You are having 4 bikes on here, so that's adding a lot of length. Let's go ahead and see how much space we shaved down. From the very end, looks like our wings are going to putting us right over our middle point here. So just over it is going to put us right at 12 inches exactly from the rear of our vehicle. So already cutting down a ton of that space. Hopefully now we can get this inside the garage, or at least get us a lot more maneuverability when we want to go ahead and park this guy, which can be great for ourselves. The only thing I'd watch out for in this position, guys, you are starting to block those tailgates. However, our X1 has some nice side taillights, so I don't think we're going to have any issue with braking, letting people know when we are coming to a stop. It's just something definitely to be conscious of. In this position too, I'd be conscious of just our little backup camera. Now, since we have a lot of holes here in the carrier, we should get a pretty good viewing on the back end. However, it is definitely going to be obstructing just a little bit of our vision. Well, coming down here and meeting us right in the middle, let's go ahead and actually see how close we are to our vehicle in this position, just to give us an idea. As you can see, our strap is already making connection. I'd probably go ahead and just bring that back into our middle holder when it's not in use, so we don't have any straps flying around, making any kind of contact. So from the very inside to the middle of our actual carrier is about 4.5 inches, while it looks like our cradles are sitting at about 3 inches from the rear of our vehicle. So still pretty good spacing there. Don't think we're going to have any contact, especially by cinching in those center masses can really help make sure we don't have any contact with our vehicle. Moving our way to the inside though, you guys can see that we do have a 2-inch shank here today, allowing us to utilize on our 2-inch hitch. On the inside, you guys are seeing a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt. Now those guys are very standard across the industry, but you still love to see them. As you can see, I can give this carrier a big old shake and it's still shaking that entire car. That means we're bringing this all in line to one system, making for a nicer, smoother ride for ourselves, our bike rack, and especially our bikes. Anything we can do to reduce the play is really going to help us in the long run. If you guys want to follow me right here to the inside too, just to get a small little look right here at this locking core. So one great little addition here, we can go ahead, make sure that our carrier stays attached to our vehicle when we leave it unattended. You are going to get 2 keys. Therefore, if you lose one, a little forgetful like me, you do have an extra for ourselves. However, However, that does bring me to my one caveat with the Destination. I think you're getting an awesome little system here without having to break the bank, but unfortunately, it does have a little bit of failing on your security measures. I might recommend taking a look at a cable lock or some kind of other feature to secure your bikes to your carrier when you leave it unattended. I know Untitled Racks has a combination with their hitch lock and their cable lock. However, I'll leave that, guys, up to your decision to see which one you guys get. Well, guys, I think that that's going to do it for our look at the Hollywood Destinations 4 bike rack carrier here on our 2016 BMW X1. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First, we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.